everyone, and welcome to Watercolors with Jaylene. And today's quick little tutorial is going to be making some birthday candles. I've made these 3 little cards to kind of show you the difference in color tones that you can use or color palettes that you can use. I have some blues, greens, and purples, oranges, pinks, and reds. And then also this is just kind of a mixture of a bunch of different colors: oranges, pinks, blues, greens, purples, yellow. So I get a lot of requests for these, and that's why I thought I'd make a quick little video. They're so easy to make, and they're just a lot of fun, and everybody loves them. So before we get started, I would like to ask you to subscribe and like to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. I would really appreciate it. It helps me grow my channel. So I'm going to set these aside for now. And real quick, my materials list is going to be just a small piece of watercolor paper, my Winsor & Newton 24 cake color watercolor paints, a jar of clean water, paper towel, and I do have a Sharpie permanent marker, and then also my Micron. This is an 05 nib, and that's a permanent marker as well for some of the finer lines. And then for my brushes, I do have a number 8 round brush. This is a number 1 round brush, and then a number 4 round brush. So I don't know if I'm actually going to use all of those, but I have them just in case. So to get started on this, we're going to draw the candles on, and I typically like to use 5 candles. You could use 3, 4, however many you want. I personally like odd numbers, and so I do have 5 in all of my cards. I have 5 candles. And I have a traceable for this. If you don't feel comfortable drawing it, I do have a traceable over on my Patreon page. You could hop over there, and for just a couple dollars a month, you can download a lot of traceables that I do my tutorials on. And so I'm going to start by just drawing in the candles. And we want them, and you'll notice here that they kind of go every which way. They're different heights, you know, very irregular. So there's no one perfect way to do them. And we'll just get these drawn in real quick. Let's have one kind of going off to the side. Like I said, you can draw yours any way you want. Whatever trips your trigger, I guess, right? So we'll put the little wick on all of them, and then a flame. And then for some of these, you'll notice that I do draw in some of the designs, and then also some of them I just paint the designs in. So I like to get everything drawn with the permanent marker first, and then we don't have to worry about it. So, and you can, you know, draw in any type of a design that you like. You know, if you like hearts, which I'm going to put hearts on one of these. I don't have them on the couple of cards that I just showed you, but I do want to put them on this one. And I think this one, instead of doing a specific color choice like in greens, purples, and blues, or reds, oranges, and yellows, I'm going to do a mixture of colors on this just to kind of give you an idea. And I'm going to go to my 05 nib micron marker. It's a little finer of a line, so for some of these smaller you know, smaller designs that we're drawing inside, it just works a little bit better. And you kind of want to draw them not real precise, just make them, you know, a little whimsical, I guess is how I'd want to say that. Oh, and then actually with my larger marker, here, let me go back. I always like to have one candle that has large dots. I love dots and stripes, and I love black and white. I just think the contrast is really nice. And like I said, you could put any type of, you know, design or pattern on your candles that you want. If you're making it for someone specific and there's something that they specifically like, that'd be a great time to add it. You know, someone that really loves hearts, or someone that really likes, I don't know, diamonds. You could do diamonds on one of them. Now this one I'm going to leave solid or no design on it because I will be adding stripes like this. So I'm not going to put anything on there now. And then my last one over here, I think I'm going to add just kind of a little flower type of design. And you can see I kind of put my little accents in different areas so it's not straight down. All right. So there, just that quick, we have those all painted in. So what I will do, I'm going to take my number 8 brush, the largest one, my number 8 round, and just paint this solid one in for now. And I think with this, I'm going to use some blues. So for the solid color of the candle itself, I'm going to make sure that it's kind of light, and then that way when I add the stripes later, it'll be a good contrast because I'll use a darker blue for the stripes. So I'm painting this now because I do want it to dry totally before I add stripes on top. We don't want the colors blending. We want the stripes to be a solid standout stripe. So while I'm painting the rest of it, I will let that dry. And then just have fun with this. You know, like I said, whatever colors that you might want to use. You know, if there's something that you prefer, colors that you prefer. Now let me go to a smaller brush. So what I'm going to do is with a orangish color, and this is a cadmium orange. I'm going to go down through and paint this candle orange, and then I'll go back and paint my hearts in a reddish color. And, you know, as far as how much paint on the brush, you could even do it, you know, it doesn't have to be like a solid color the whole way down. If there's different tones, that makes for an interesting candle. Like you'll see, and I don't know how well you can actually see this on the video, but as I go down, I'm just using water to drag the orange down. So as it gets closer to the bottom, it's definitely lighter. And then right at the very bottom, I'm going to add just an extra little bit of orange. And that, here, that might be just a little bit too much. So what I'm doing is adding just a little orange down here, and then that will gradually, as it dries, it's going to blend going upward. So it's going to give it different tones within that orange part of the candle. So we'll let that dry before we go and add the color to the hearts. There again, we don't want it blending. So while those two are drying, I think what I'm going to do is once again go back to my large number 8 brush. And really you can use any size brushes that you feel comfortable with to paint these. You know, it's going to depend on the little designs that you put within the candles. So on this candle, because I did paint the, you know, I used the permanent marker, I don't have to really worry about the black running. So this is going to be a wet on wet design on this one. And I'm going to start with a little bit of a yellowish color towards the top. And I do have, you know, quite a bit on my paintbrush. I want to bring that down, and then I'm going to add in, this is kind of a pinkish, let's see, what is the name of this? This is Permanent Rose. So here, if I kind of add in the Permanent Rose, let me grab a little bit more. You can see that they're going to blend very nice. And that's why I wanted to go through and add water to the candle all the way down. And so then towards the bottom, I'm going to just grab a little orange, some of that cadmium orange. There. So as they kind of blend, you know, it's going to be a really cool looking candle with the big black dots. Okay, so while all of those are drying, so we don't want to try and paint the candle right next to it because we don't want the colors to be blending. So I'm going to let those dry for just a minute. And while they're drying, what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of my yellow with my small, this is my 01 paintbrush. So I want to paint in with yellow. I'm going to do like a couple of these at a time. And I do want quite a bit, I want this to be pretty wet, the flames themselves, and I'll show you why. I do 2, and then I go in and I grab some of the, this is, let's see, what color is this? This is a cadmium red hue, and I just do a couple little dots at the bottom of the flame, and because the yellow is still wet, they're going to blend up to make it look more like a flame. Just give it a little character, a little personality. Add some whimsy to the candles, right? So you can see I'm just kind of very loosely adding the color into the flame area. Now I'm going to grab a little bit of the cadmium red and dot it. Oops, that might go up a little too far. And if it does, you know what, that's fine. We don't care. Just kind of adds a little character to the flames, right? Okay, so now with this 01 brush, I'm going to go ahead, I think this is dry enough now. I'm going to go ahead and, actually I'll let that dry another minute. I'll do the red hearts. So we just color those in. And you can tell I'm just doing real quick. If I miss a little bit, that's okay. All right, so there we have our little hearts painted. And I think over on this candle, I want to do, I think I'm going to do the candle in a green. And this green is a really bright, it's emerald green, and it's a nice bright green. So I'll go around and I'll paint around these flowers, because I'm not sure what color just yet I'm going to paint those. Guess I'll have to make a decision pretty quick, but you know, I don't want, if you were doing, oh, I don't know, maybe like a blue, and then going back and painting the little flowers in. If you do something light and then stay in the same color family, you know, you could go back and paint over it. So you could paint this whole thing a solid, say if I painted it a solid green, I could go back and paint those flowers in with a darker green, and that would work just fine. But I think I want to, you know, use a totally different color, so that's why I'm painting around them. Okay, so we go down, just get a little bit of green the whole way down. All right, perfect. All right, so now I'm going to go back, and with my, this is a Prussian blue, so it's a very dark blue. And very lightly with my #1 brush and the blue paint, I'm just going to draw in some lines. They don't have to be perfectly straight. In fact, if they aren't perfectly straight, it kind of adds a little bit of character. All right, so see how we took one plain candle and really added a lot of texture to it. You could do that with all the candles if you wanted to. If you didn't want to go through and paint in different little designs, you could definitely do that on all of them. It'd look darling. Okay, so over on this one, I think I'm going to use a little bit of a purple. And paint in the solid areas here. It's kind of dark. So that was a little too dark, so all I did was tapped the paint on my brush off and then went in and got a little bit more water on my brush just to kind of move around the paint that is already on here. And then I've mentioned this before in many of my videos that if you're fairly new to watercolor paints, keep in mind that as the colors dry, as the paints dry, they do lighten up a little bit. So if you feel like you're putting something on and it's a little too dark, just remember that they do lighten as they dry. Okay, so now I think my little flowers, I'm going to do those in an orange. And with here again with my 01 or my my 01 brush, just go in and paint them. And it's pretty much just dabbing a little bit of color into each one of these. And you can see how quick this goes. I mean, they're so much fun to paint and everyone just loves them. I get asked quite often, to paint up some of these cards for people. They have, well, everybody has birthdays, so they really, you use these a lot. All right, so with the purple, I'm using that same emerald green, and I'm just going and paint these up. Okay, see how quick and easy this is? A lot of fun. I went to dinner with some friends last night, and I gave them a little set of 3 cards and a bookmark. And when she looked at the cards, she says, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to frame these." I said, "Well, I'm giving them to you so that you can send them out to people." I said, "There's more where that came from." She said, "Nope, I'm framing them." So that's what happens with a lot of these cards. People love them so much, they don't want to just send them out to someone. They do end up in frames, and people will send me pictures once they've framed them, and they are really cute framed as well. So this is done. See how quick that was? And then to actually put it on, a background paper and onto a card, here's 3 different colors that I had grabbed just real quick out of my kit. And it looks very nice on the yellow. That really makes it pop. Looks great on the lavender also. Really kind of like that. Of course, I think I'm kind of partial to that lavender paper. And then this aqua green, it looks perfect on there. So you can see how it really will go with just about any color. And this one we have, the pink background, an orangish background, and a blue background. So once I do pick a background, and just for the sake of this video, I'm going to go with this aqua green. So real quick, I'll show you what I do. I flip both of these. So, well, I don't flip that one over. So with double-sided tape, I just want to put a couple pieces on here. And then we can mount it right onto the background paper. And you'll see in one of my previous videos how I go about cutting these pieces of paper, the background color, because it does start as just a regular, you know, 8.5 by 11 cardstock paper. Okay, so I put a couple pieces of tape on there, and then we can go ahead and mount this onto the greeting card itself. So there, it was just that quick. If you want, add a little bit of the glitter glue around the edges, that's great. And a lot of times I'll put a little bit of the glitter glue on the flames also. So that is the quick little tutorial for today. I hope you enjoyed it. As I mentioned earlier, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you could go ahead and do that and ring the, you know, hit the little bell, and that way you'll get notices when I put new videos up. And I think that's all for now. Go over, check out my Patreon page for any of the traceables. And until next time, ciao for now.